You cannot win an argument with someone who does not want to be one. If you engage with a fool, they will drag you into their abyss of stupidity. You cannot prove yourself by talking. Nobody cares about your accomplishments. They only care about their own opinions. And so most people are deaf to anything that doesn't concern them. This has always been true, but it has become more apparent now in this age of social media. We are all too concerned with our public image and don't care about yours. So what does this mean? That you should start caring about theirs? No, it means you must learn to master your emotions. Do not be reactive. There is nothing more revealing than reactivity. It exposes you, it unmasks you, while stillness reveals the other person. But why is that? Why does silence have such power? Well, imagine a lake, a still body of water reflecting the mountains in the distance. Now imagine a pebble being cast into that lake. What happens? The stillness is broken. Ripples spread out from the point of contact, disturbing the harmony of the scene. Now imagine that the same thing happens again and again. Each time a new ripple is spreading out from the center. If you were a duck swimming on that lake, would it be difficult for you to maintain your composure? Yes, because each ripple affects you, upsets you, causing you to react. Your attention is dispersed across the surface of the lake. This is what it is like to deal with a reactive person. Their mind is a turbulent sea. Their every mood, desire, fear, it leaves its mark on their behavior, making them inconsistent and unpredictable. But what if you were not a duck swimming on the lake, but rather the mountain in the distance? Would you be affected by the ripples? No. Your position is stable and unaffected by the changing circumstances. This is what it is like to be in control of yourself. Your emotions are anchored within you. They do not move according to the whims of external events. When you control yourself, you are able to see things clearly and act deliberately. Let's go back to the example of the duck on the lake. Imagine another duck swimming alongside you. This duck is also affected by the ripples. It reacts just like you. However, what if this duck is your enemy? Can you guess what he is thinking? Most likely he is thinking about how to use these ripples to his advantage. Perhaps he is hoping that you will exhaust yourself by trying to keep up with him. Maybe he thinks you will eventually sink. Whatever his thoughts may be, the fact remains that he is using your reactions to his advantage. And this is what it is like to deal with someone who controls you. They use your emotions against you. In any interaction where there is an attempt to make you lose your cool, there is a hidden motive behind it. This is why losing your cool is considered a weakness. It gives the other person an advantage. For example, if a woman says something to provoke you, she knows that your immediate reaction will be to defend yourself. She knows that you will get angry and perhaps even say something you will regret later, and so the woman has already won. Before you even realize what was happening, you have given up the advantage. We can also take the example of the famous argument between Socrates and the Sophists were a group of professional argumentative experts. They were known for their ability to win arguments, no matter what the subject was. And so when Socrates decided to debate them on the subject of whether or not the stronger argument is always the right one, he knew that he had to be careful. He knew that he could not afford to lose his cool. After all, he was going up against some of the best arguers of his time. And so Socrates began to ask them questions. He asked them to define what they meant by strength and right. He asked them to explain how one could measure the strength of an argument. But the more questions Socrates asked, the more the sophists began to falter. Their confidence began to waver, and in the end it was clear that neither of them had a satisfactory answer. In fact, nobody has been able to answer those questions since then. This is the power of stillness. It allows you to gain the advantage over your opponent. When you are still, you are able to see clearly. You are able to think strategically. But let us consider a different situation. Two men are walking down the street. They are friends. Suddenly one of them steps on a banana peel and slips. He falls to the ground with a loud thud. His friend rushes to his side and asks if he is okay. The man on the ground looks up at his friend and says, "I am fine." But his voice is shaking. He is clearly in pain. His friend can see that he is hurt, and so he helps him up. He walks with him until they reach a bench where they can sit down. The man on the bench closes his eyes and takes a deep breath. After a few moments, he opens his eyes and looks at his friend. "Thank you for helping me," he says. "I didn't mean to make a fool of myself." His friend puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "It's all right. Accidents happen. The important thing is that you are okay." The man on the bench nods his head in agreement. "I know. I just felt humiliated for a moment. I felt like everyone was staring at me and laughing at my expense." His friend smiles and says, "Well, maybe they were. But you know what? It doesn't matter. You are alive and you are with a friend. That is all that matters." The man on the bench looks up at his friend and smiles back. He realizes that his friend is right. He feels grateful for his friend's support and understanding. So sometimes it is better to show your cards. Why? Because your presence can influence the other person. Even if you are in pain, even if you are hurt, your attitude can make a difference. Sometimes it is better to show your cards because your presence can influence the other person. Even if you are in pain, even if you are hurt, your attitude can make a difference. When we are in pain, we want to hide it. We want to pretend that we are strong. But sometimes it is better to be honest about our pain. When we are honest about our pain, we open ourselves up to the possibility of receiving help. We also show the other person that we trust them enough to share our vulnerability with them. This creates a bond between the two of us. And what is the strongest bond of all? Trust. You may think that being reactive is a sign of strength, but it is not. Being calm and controlled is where true strength lies. By remaining calm in the face of adversity, we show the world that we are not easily intimidated. We demonstrate our ability to handle difficult situations without resorting to anger or violence. This is what it means to be truly powerful. When you master your emotions, you become unstoppable. Nothing can stand in your way. So remember, brothers, true power does not come from talking. It comes from the ability to master your emotions and to remain still in the face of adversity. This is the path to true strength.